New developments in the impeachment trial of suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton, with lawyers on both sides trying to gain an advantage.
We're dealing with lawyers here, and you can't stop them from doing what they want to do.
How a series of motions filed before a key deadline could shape the course of this high-profile case.
The truth is, we don't have to be embarrassed by our senator. We can get a new one.
Texas Democrat Colin Allred wants to challenge Ted Cruz. We go one-on-one with the congressman, his message to voters as he starts a statewide campaign tour. A conservative Texan joins forces with a high-profile progressive congresswoman. How a push to research psychedelic drugs is creating an unlikely alliance on Capitol Hill.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. We're just weeks away from the Texas Senate impeachment trial of suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton. Both sides have concerns. Paxton's team filed multiple motions asking to dismiss all 20 articles of impeachment. And there are still questions about the rules for the trial. Capitol correspondent Monica Madden looks at how the motions could affect the course of the case.
Lawyers defending Ken Paxton fight to stop the impeachment trial from ever starting. In one of their 13 motions, Team Paxton accuses the House of trying to overturn the will of millions of Texas voters in an anti-democratic attempt to defeat Ken Paxton through impeachment. Meanwhile, attorneys prosecuting the case look for clarification on the rules of the unprecedented trial, questioning details like time limitations and usage of cell phones on the floor. The pre-trial jousting marks a dramatic start to the impeachment trial, and with all of the attorneys under a gag order, they're airing out their grievances with the process in hundreds of pages of documents.
We're dealing with lawyers here, and you can't stop them from doing what they want to do. And then those pre-trial motions are part of the public record, and you can read from part of the public record. So they read the nasty things they say about the charges against Ken Paxton from that record.
According to the rules, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who will preside over the trial, could rule on any of these motions on the day the trial begins.
I think the beginning of the trial will be a flurry of announcements and votes, and then we'll get down to opening statements.
So far, Patrick has not commented on the motions to dismiss or potential violations of the gag order. Monica Madden, State of Texas.
It would require a majority vote in the Senate to approve the dismissal of any of the articles of impeachment. Attorneys on both sides have until August 15th to file a response to any of their opponents' pretrial motions. A Texas judge will soon decide whether to throw out election results in Harris County. About 20 candidates are suing to do their elections over again, claiming errors led to their losses in November. Ryan Chandler looks at the trial's implications for our state's largest county, which accounts for about 1 in 6 registered voters statewide.
Republicans in Harris County relitigating razor-thin results. On November 8th, GOP candidate for district judge Aaron Lunsford lost by about 2,700 votes to incumbent Tamika Kraft. Her party is now calling into question the county's election administration.
It's constant problems. So this isn't just a one-time, oops, we made a mistake. This has been a year or more of just really running the elections poorly.
About 20 of the county's 782 polling locations ran out of ballot paper, causing confusion at some locations and an order to keep the polls open an extra hour.
It's not a case of sore loser. It's just, will someone please answer the question why and what's going to be done to fix it?
Harris County acknowledges some errors are likely in the state's largest election operation, but they say there's no evidence any errors impacted any results.
When you put the microscope and the scrutiny of the rules of evidence onto these people's stories, it just really doesn't check out.
Assistant County Attorney Fombin worries this challenge is a symptom of the skepticism facing elections nationwide.
The general narrative that's been pushed by a certain number of people about how we should not trust our elections officials, that the elections are rigged or whatever it is. I have a deep concern about that. I think that what we saw with these election contests is certainly tied to that.
The judge is David Peoples, visiting from Bexar County to avoid internal influence, and his decision could take weeks. Ryan Chandler, State of Texas.
The judge could allow the election results to stand, or he could order a new election. The side that loses the case is likely to appeal. A growing push on Capitol Hill to use psychedelic drugs to help veterans.
It's like putting a fresh blanket of snow on all your neural connections is another way I've heard it explained.
How a conservative Texan is joining one of the most liberal members of Congress to get funding for research. A Texas Democrat gears up to challenge Republican Senator Ted Cruz.
I know what it takes to win in tough races, and I know what it takes to get folks who maybe usually don't vote to turn out.
Why he says he can break a decades-long losing streak for Texas Democrats.